Hi guys, Dale from Equine Nutrition here. I was having a chat with a client on Monday about the fact that her horse had bad feet, and it is that time of year where we happen to have a lot of mud and rain. I say that time of year, it has not stopped yet, so this winter it's potentially worse than normally. And maybe you're seeing abscesses and things like that that you have never had before because it's particularly bad. It's so wet, it's so muddy, and it has been a warm, wet summer, and bugs have potentially grown in our ground and they're left there, and then our horses pick them up again, and when their feet are softer and cracks and things happen in the winter. So I just thought I'd go over the gut. It always comes back to the gut and how we can help the gut of the horse cope in order to make things better in the rest of their body, like the feet. It really, everything starts from the gut, almost everything. So if I can explain to you how the hindgut in particular works in a horse, and break it down to be as less sciencey as possible, I think of the hindgut as being, you would have heard this term before, that it's a fermentation vat, it's the microbial system of the horse's body. It's full of microbes, it's full of quadrillions of different microbes. Think of it, if you're looking at your horse, look at its gut and think of this little factory in there that's filled with workers. I always picture them as filled with little yellow minions. They all look the same. They're all yellow and wearing blue overalls and blue hats, but there's slight differences. One might be fat, one might be short, and one might be skinny, one might have two eyes, one might have one eye. You get the idea. I love minions. But they're all happy working away in this factory, and think of it as a long factory line. And what happens is you've got this bunch of workers and you've got like tubes of fibre. So I'm just using my beautiful daffodil that was given to me by this particular client. But I think of a tube of fibre. It's hard, it's structural, it's like the grass that goes in, it's the structural part, and it goes along this conveyor belt in this little factory that your minions are working at. And in the top level they go in, and there's a whole lot of minions, and they put it in a big fermentation vat and they cook it up, and they're wearing their hats and they're singing away in their Frenchy songs. And then it goes down to the next level, and those minions chop up this big long tube into little tiny tubes, and it goes to the next bunch and they do something, and it chops down again and chops down again and chops down again, and it's making all these different sizes of good things that the body needs to help itself run. And so, you know, I'm talking about things for energy. I'm talking about amino acids, essential omegas, all these different things. And then what happens is those minions at the top are finished with them. It shoots down a mail chute to the mail room full of minions, and the mail room minions have little carts, and they catch what they has been made and chopped down and put back together in different pieces, and those little mail minions, they shoot them off to different areas of the body that need it. Now when we're talking about the feet, if you feed those minions in the gut properly, and they like what they're given and they're happy in their work, they will chop down that hard fibre and they will end up making biotin, and that shoots down to the mailroom, and that minion picks up that biotin and he shoots it down to the feet to help the hooves and structurally be strong. And so the moral of the story is, if you're feeding fibre and good fibre to the gut, and the gut is happy and your minions are happy working in the gut, your horse's gut will make biotin. So there's no need to run out immediately and put separate copper and separate zinc and separate biotin into your horse's feed. In a happy, healthy horse, what happens when you're getting bad feet is that instead of this hard fibre going into the hind gut in a nice hard form that the minions like, I think of like a pink globby goo going in, which is kind of a bit sugary and a bit wet, and there's too much of it and it overloads and it blows up the fermentation vat and it sticks to all your minions and it shoots down into the other end of the factory, and 2 minions have walked off to tell the supervisor what's wrong, 2 have got goo all over them and they're drowned underneath the belt down the end, and the other 10 have walked off the job to have a union meeting. Someone else has turned the fire alarm on and the sprinkler's going. The whole thing breaks down, right? So at that point, there's nothing going down into the mailroom in terms of biotin to help, and for that minion in the mailroom to run off and shoot that biotin down into the gut, because the supervisor up top is trying desperately not to have his nice little yellow minions all turning into these big purple angry things and beating up his good workers. So the bad workers have come along, everything's fallen to pieces. I hope that makes sense for you. It's a factory filled with little workers. Feed them lots of good, hard carbohydrates, good grass, good fibre. You're going to end up with a gut that's happy and a gut microbes that will produce biotin and send that down to the horse's feet for you. Of course, there will be times when the horse is ill, when things have happened like this year where we've had such a long, wet, horrid year. Immune systems have run low, and at that time the workers run on overtime. They're not very happy about that, and more gets put into other areas of making other things for the body than does in making biotin for the feet. And those are the times, potentially like now, that, and if you've got an ill horse, where you will see these cracks. And so you might have to add some more biotin, but you won't have to do it forever, like Pantene. If you start feeding that gut properly and feed it good fibre and less high sugary grass or too much starch, too much grains, feed it less of that, more fibre, happier minions, do their job, make biotin, happy feet, happy days. Hope that makes sense. Let me know if it does and how I can help. Thanks. Bye.